He just went. I'll tell you. Hey, I'm doing a show. How are ya? All right. We'll continue this after the show at my place. It's Friday, so you know what that means. Let's welcome tonight's guest. He loves coming on this show so he can bathe in the bathroom sink. Founder of the LoftusParty.com, Michael Loftus. She just wrote a children's book, so CNN viewers will have something to read. Author Ashley St. Clair. When she was in Africa, children asked her if she had enough to eat. New York Times bestselling author and Fox News contributor, Cat Tube. And he flosses with the power line. New York Times bestselling author, comedian, and former NWA world champion, Tyrus. I'm already tired. Wow. Before we get to some news stories, let's do this.
Greg's Leftovers.
Yeah, Leftovers, where I read the jokes we didn't use this week, and as always, it's my first time reading them. So if they suck, for every bad one, we will rip a toenail off of Joe Mackey's feet. I know, 11. All right, Mike Pence announced that he's ending his presidential campaign after much prayer and reflection, marking the only time his campaign did have a prayer. Oh. Nice guy, though. According to the White House, President Biden grew worried about AI after seeing it featured in the new Mission Impossible movie, scaring him almost as much as when he thought 50 Shades of Grey was about a stool sample. It's a poop joke. VP Kamala Harris said she'll research the best way to deal with AI as soon as someone can help her spell it. Because she's stupid. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis was accused of trying to look taller due to the odd shape of his boots. DeSantis said to ignore his upturned toes, and he's eager to show America what he can do once he's done making toys for Santa. TikTok influencer claims you could tell a woman's age by the length of her socks and the loneliness of a man by the stiffness of his.
Oh. Come on, man.
I don't even know what it means.
I'm not telling you.
Yeah, I don't get that at
No
all.
one tell him.
Yeah.
No one.
By the way, AI has helped create a new Beatles song featuring the voice of John Lennon. And music fans are reminded, if you want to hear more songs from dead Brits, there's a new Rolling Stones album. Boy, you guys are sensitive. Oh, ooh, ooh. What do you think this is? Outnumbered? Robert De Niro appeared in court this week in a discrimination case filed by his former personal assistant. Although testimony was delayed for several hours when De Niro kept asking the judge, "Are you talking to me?" Thanks. If found guilty, De Niro would be required to pay $12 million and punished with repeated viewings of Meet the Fockers. Former CNN anchor Brian Stelter posted Halloween photos dressed as a Taylor Swift fan. The photos delighted families in his neighborhood who can now identify the man who ate their pumpkins.
Never over.
It's never over. He's going to be on this show soon, I promise. A bishop in Poland quit his job after an all-male orgy in a rectory went wrong. I know. He apologized, saying he didn't know what came over him. That may be the best joke ever written. According to the National Retail Federation, where I get all my news, Americans were expected to spend a record-breaking $12.2 billion on Halloween candy this year, and that's just one guy from Jersey. Kim Kardashian released a bra with fake nipples to make you always look cold. Meanwhile, Prince Harry plans to release an underwear that makes it look like you have testicles. That gets applause? I don't understand you people. A tortoise in Florida was found 5 miles from his home after being lost for 3.5 years. And no one was more relieved to have him back than his father. The Natural History Museum in NYC is adding a life-size replica of an Ice Age woolly mammoth. In fact, the museum was so excited they've already released a photo of it. And finally, never thought I'd be happy to hear those words. Research shows that Gen Zers are not interested in movie sex scenes. I guess they'll love the upcoming Brian Kilmeade biopic. I don't want your mercy applause. To the news. Hunter cries boo-hoo because he loved to smoke, booze, and screw. This week, the Biden skank settles scores with critics of drug use and whores. Hunter Biden wrote an op-ed in USA Today arguing how he fought to get sober, but political weaponization of his addiction has hurt more than just him. Classic Hunter. He wrote the first draft on the back of a passed-out crack whore. The man who put the dick in addiction writes how his struggles and mistakes have been, quote, fodder for a vile and sustained disinformation campaign against his dad and an all-out annihilation of his reputation. It's funny, he thinks he had a reputation. Makes no sense. That's like saying all of Kat's jokes about my height made me shorter. Damn.
Good one.
But is it still disinformation if there's legit photos of you acting like Caligula with a crack pipe? Don't get mad at us. You took the pictures. He argues what makes his case different from other addicts is he's the son of the president. Yeah, because otherwise he'd be in jail already. Sorry, Hunter. Like my thermometer, it goes both ways. Sure, you're getting all this attention from evil conservative media and slapped with criminal charges because you're Joe's boy, but you've also benefited. I'm plowing right through that.
Yeah.
For one thing, just think how much money your lifestyle has saved you on pants. But who else with zero experience gets a cushy post at a Ukraine oil company and makes millions off his last name just for showing up with fresh Coke spackling your nostrils? Hell, I can't even get an interview for that job. And do we even need to mention China? We'd be here all night, and I got better things to do with my time, like helping Michael Loftus move into a new cardboard box. And now we're all supposed to feel sorry for him and forget about all the shady he's done all these years, allegedly. As Hunter might say, whenever a hooker entered a room, that. We're supposed to forget he and his father sold out America time and time again because he spent the time in between on hookers and blow. Sorry, Hunter, you can't use a great time as a shield against flagrant corruption. If that were true, then every criminal whose dad wasn't president would be able to use the same defense. But they can't because their dad isn't president. So it's not about you anyway. It's about the big guy and how he used you to get oodles of cash from our country's adversaries. You were the bag man, and Joe was the big guy. So turn your anger towards him and not us. In fact, don't turn toward us at all. We have no idea where that thing has been. You know, Loftus, as a homeless junkie who's hit rock bottom, do you think the media has been unfair to Hunter?
No.
No?
No, well, if anything, they've been too fair. They've been too coddling. Hunter has an excuse addiction, is what he has. It's like what you were saying. An addiction isn't a get out of jail free card. Mm-hmm. You still did some horrible man, and so you have to be held accountable. And it's like I have zero sympathy when part of your addiction is getting hundreds and thousands of dollars from Burisma and hundreds of thousands of dollars from communist China, so now they can hold it over the president's head. It's like I have zero sympathy. Like maybe if he wasn't in the beach houses, and have the hundreds of thousands of dollars coming in and the art career, I might have a little sympathy.
Yeah.
But so far, no.
Yeah, and for a junkie who's got his life straight, it didn't seem to appear that way when he ignored his child.
Right?
I mean, isn't that supposed to, once you get sober, you're supposed to, like, change things?
Right?
He did not change things.
He's like, oh, I made a list of all the things I've been drunk. Am I going to apologize? No, going to
Nope.
keep doing it.
Nope.
All right.
Ashley, so he says the media has really been hard on him. Isn't he just talking about this show? Because nobody else is actually talking about Hunter Biden. He wrote an entire op-ed targeted at this show and perhaps maybe, I don't know, who else? The Babylon Bee. Yeah.
I think he just needs to drop the act. I unironically love Hunter Biden. If he drops the act of pretending to be a scholar and an artist, and he just embraces being a degenerate bachelor, trying to avoid drugs and child support, and he embraces this, maybe starts a YouTube channel. I can see it now, the title, "You Will Not Believe What I Found in the White House, What I Left in the White House." It's just going, but he had everyone playing layup for him. He had the FBI covering for him, the media. He is in no way someone who needs a sob story. I know a lot of crackheads. Not one of them ended up on the board of a Ukrainian energy company.
Yeah, that's almost credit to him, Kat. Do you think the drug use was a cover for him doing all these deals? It's like, nah, I'm just a partier. Then meanwhile, he's just making millions.
I just think he had different opportunities.
Yeah.
Than most crackheads do.
Yeah, it is unfair to the other
Yeah,
crackhead.
I like how he talks in the op-ed. He's like, I was taking as many hits on the crack pipe as possible. Like, yeah, it's crack. people don't do crack because they're looking to get medium high.
Yeah, that is true.
There's no like crack vineyards where people like taste different crack from different regions.
Crack tasting would be amazing.
Like,
Busy, but not too precocious.
yeah, exactly. They take notes on the different flavor profiles of the crack. Like, you did crack the way everyone who does crack does crack. But I have got no issue with him doing crack.
Yeah.
I really don't care if he wants to do crack. Do all the crack you want. That's fine. Not my problem. But yeah, it's more the fact that, you know, the corruption stuff and all of that, which is, I guess, more boring than all the videos of his crack use and his penis and whatever else. But that, to me, just sounds like, you know, that's how he wants to party. I guess go ahead.
Yeah, it's not about the partying, Tyrus. It's about everything else. So do you, okay, there's an ulterior motive to him doing this column now. What is it? Why is he bringing it up? Because he must be getting close to the financial corruption, and he's going, oh, it's about the drugs.
You know, this is why I don't believe in pictures and video anymore. Because the balls on this guy, you would think in every photo they'd be standing out for all of us to see. Like, he represents pretty much the entire extreme left now. They want to do all kinds of fun, and then when somebody brings the accountability word up, oh, how dare you go after my drug use? No one would have gave a flying about your drug use if you weren't using the money you were stealing from the American people and influence to buy your crack. You were so cocky with it. You're the only, you know, he's not like other crackheads, because the only reason why he was doing crack was because he's cheap. He loved money more than he loved drugs, because he was always bitching about the big guy taking his 10%. That little check we saw that was $40,000, which is 10% of $400,000, and I don't have to be on crack to know where that came from. So he doesn't, if I was a crackhead, I would be offended that he would even have the gall to hold a pipe in front of me. Like, no, sir, you had the money to do cocaine, but you were too cheap. And you were so cocky and arrogant with it. He's got the FBI buying his crack. He's got the CIA killing his horse. Like, he's got it all going together, and he wanted to make a fun video montage of it and just enjoy himself. And he was so arrogant, he literally took his laptop with him doing everything under the sun to a regular guy, like, here, fix this. That's beyond arrogant.
Yeah. There probably are better organized crackheads out there.
Yeah. No,
Like, not one person in his entourage, not one person in his entourage said, hey, man, we need to take this laptop, smash it in a million pieces, and swim it down with one of your dead hookers in the bottom of the ocean. Like, that never crossed anybody. No, bro, I'm untouchable. Matter of fact, I'll have the FBI drop it off themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's mad because now we're saying, hey.
Yeah.
The drugs is the best part of him.
I think, you know, I want to keep that entire rant, so I'm going to say allegedly dead hookers. Allegedly.
Yes.
Yeah, put allegedly.
Allegedly.
Oh.
All right.
The Clinton Foundation has found homes for all of them. They're doing very well in churches in Thailand.
Good save. Good save. Up next, Liz.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.